Every single time a founder tries to raise money, there's a moment of silence that drowns out everything else. The pounding heartbeat, the quick swallow, the creeping doubt, that question boiling under the skin. Am I going to have to beg for money? That's the real terror. Not pitching, not the call, but the raw, gnawing fear of having to ask, to put yourself on the line and say, please, invest in me. Nobody talks about how that crushes your spirit, how it robs you of dignity, how it turns even the most brilliant idea into a desperate shout in a void. And yet, here's the truth. Elite founders never close rounds by asking. They never lower themselves that way. They don't chase money. They don't barter their vision like a street vendor. The difference? It's not luck. It's not connections. It's the secret mindset, the invisible framework they build around themselves before the money even goes near the table. Those founders don't need to ask because the money chases them. It's a magnetic pull created through something deeper, sharper, and far more powerful than a pitch deck or a resume. You see, everything you've been told about fundraising is a lie wrapped in polite language. You're taught to prepare perfect slides, rehearse your speech, dress the part. But all of that without purpose is noise. Hollow noise that leaves you drained and stuck. The real question is, how do you become the kind of founder who closes rounds so fluidly people feel stupid not investing? How do you create an irresistible force that pulls investors in without ever begging for a cent? It starts with a brutal truth. Investors don't invest in ideas. They don't invest in fancy projections or the next trending market. Investors invest in commitment, in fire, in clarity so pure it makes everything else irrelevant. When you're that intense, that real, money seeking you out isn't random, it's inevitable. What if this fear of asking could be flipped, turned into the very power that magnetizes capital? It can. And it begins with owning your uncompromising vision so fiercely that it terrifies mediocrity, suffocates hesitation, and annihilates doubt before it even appears. Investors don't want partners who just want money. They want partners who embody the future they believe in. That's why elite founders don't ask. They show. They radiate a belief so contagious it drags money out of pockets like a gravitational pull, effortlessly. But showing isn't about shouting louder or spinning a prettier story. It's about being radically authentic, about revealing not just the product or service, but the why behind the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, the unyielding hunger to create something that can't be ignored. That is the wound and the weapon. It's vulnerability cloaked in unparalleled determination. Here's what most founders miss: that capital is energy. Investors invest energy first, then money follows. If you waste your energy trying to convince or worse, plead, you're already defeated. But if you harness your energy so purely, so defiantly, you become a living signal that attracts the right energy back. Investment that's aligned, powerful, and limitless. When the energy you emit screams, "This is the future, and it's unstoppable," asking becomes obsolete. You are not negotiating. You are inviting. You are not begging. You are selecting. You choose who gets the privilege to join your revolution, not the other way around. The founders who close rounds without asking understand this perfectly. They don't close deals. They open movements. Each round is not a transaction, but a transformation. Investors don't buy equity. They join the journey. At the core of this is an obsession with alignment, not numbers. You don't want just any investment. You want the investment that turns your vision into a storm. That means deeply knowing who truly belongs in your orbit. Investors who share your hunger, your fight, your rebellion against the ordinary. Once that alignment is absolute, your fundraising is no longer a grind. It becomes an act of mutual ignition. This is where the world's strongest founders live. They don't compromise. They don't lower their flame for approval or money. They find the rare few who burn as intensely as they do, and together they craft something untouchable. Now ask yourself, what keeps you from being that founder? Is it the fear of rejection? The constant doubt whispering, what if they say no? That's the trap. But what if rejection isn't your enemy but your filter? What if every no isn't personal failure but necessary course correction, proving you haven't yet found the few who resonate with your true fire? Those elite founders don't fear rejection. They welcome it because it's proof they're not settling. That relentless combing through the noise is work, the work of sovereignty. of sovereignty, not as an empty word, but as the fiercest weapon you wield. To be truly sovereign is to be unshakable, unbreakable in your essence, so that when capital comes near, it has only two choices: align with that power or stay out of the way. You don't ask because you can't. Your mission is not negotiable. And here's something most people never say. It's not the brilliant business model or the perfect hiring plan that seals rounds without asking. It's the community you build before the raise, the sacred network of those few who believe in you and your reality so deeply that their belief creates capital. The rare, the misfits, the misunderstood, they connect with other rare minds, and suddenly what was impossible becomes unstoppable. You need more than a pitch. You need a tribe of sparks turning into a wildfire. Until you build that infrastructure, the system will keep rejecting you, not because you lack talent, but because you operate in an ecosystem designed for conformity. To break free, you must be willing to rethink everything, to abandon the old rules like dead skins peeling off your ambition. The system isn't a cage unless you let it be. Real leaders close rounds by breaking the system with their own relentless becoming. They don't look at fundraising as a hurdle. They see it as a vertical lift, a test of who's truly ready to own their future, and nothing less. When you step into that frame, when you embody it so fully nobody can doubt your presence, you don't have to ask. The money becomes just a detail. It's the natural consequence of people seeing your flame and refusing to walk away. And here's the rule nobody tells you. The richer you are in conviction, in unforgiving self-belief, in daring to bear your broken, brutal truth, the less you will ever need to ask. Your power creates scarcity. The power to close rounds without asking comes from understanding that you are the prize. Not your idea, not your plan, but you. Your passion. Your fire. Your sovereign will. Investors want to back the person who has transcended the fear, not someone still trapped in the prison of asking. So start today. Rip off the mask of compliance. Tear down the walls of doubt. Build your story not around desperate pleas, but unshakable reality. Position yourself dead center in your vision so clearly that other offers fade into the background noise. Forget fundraising as a task. Take it as a mission to free yourself and show others what real commitment looks like. The money is always there waiting for the fearless, for those who refuse to accept anything less than their future unfiltered. Look around you. The world is starved for founders like this. Founders who don't wait for permission, who don't beg for opportunity. Founders who close rounds without asking because they are the rare energy, the living proof that boundaries are made to be shattered. You can be one of them, not by learning new tricks or tweaking your pitch, but by living with a fire so visible, so contagious, that money doesn't just come, it chases. This isn't hype. It's the path of those who refuse to be prisoners of the old lies, who build their own networks, create their own realities, and unleash power few even imagine. They aren't waiting for the future. They are the future. And when you become that, asking becomes unnecessary. The world bends to your will, and money follows like a shadow, constant, loyal, unstoppable. That's the core power. That's the real game. Closing rounds without asking isn't a skill. It's sovereignty, and it's waiting for you to claim it.